Drew from Fighting Evolved. This week's video is the ultimate elbow video. Elbows have been underutilized in MMA for many years. You're finally seeing that start to change. So this week's video, we're going to discuss the two types of elbows, cutting versus impact. We're also going to discuss, and this is the most important takeaway from the video, is your ability to use the active guard and keep yourself safe while throwing an elbow. All right, guys, let's delineate cutting elbows from impact elbows. When we're talking about the cutting elbow, we're talking about just that. I'm trying to cut my opponent. I'm not trying to smash my forearm into them. I'm literally trying to open up their face. So we've got the small bony prominence. It's the olecranon process. This is the surface I want to strike with if I'm using a cutting elbow. So if I'm throwing a horizontal elbow and I snap that across their face, it's just a little bony prominence I want to catch them with. That's what's going to open up the skin. Two things you need to know about throwing the cutting elbow. One is you need velocity. The velocity is going to come from the pelvis and that rotational component that you develop just like you do when you punch or you kick. The other is staying relaxed. When you're snapping your elbow, you need to be completely relaxed. That's going to obviously lead into greater velocity. One way to stay relaxed is to keep the hands open. So when you're elbowing, keep that hand open. It's going to give you much greater speed. When you clench the fist and all those muscles contract, it's going to decelerate the movement. It's also going to create a bit of a padding over that bony prominence. Obviously, that's going to be counterproductive. We're trying to cut our opponent. When you're looking at the impact elbows, the vertical elbow, the spear, your spinning elbows, your back elbows, these are all elbows that are designed for blunt force trauma. You want to hit that person as hard as you can hit them. You're not concerned with cutting the skin. You're looking more for a knockout or to do significant damage from the actual strike. All right, guys, now that we understand a little bit more about cutting elbows versus the impact elbows, the most important thing, the real takeaway from the video is being able to use an active guard. And an active guard means that when you're throwing an elbow, your other hand and forearm is always covering your face. I train in MMA gyms all around the country, Thai gyms, Kali gyms. I see a lot of hard, fast, efficient elbows. However, I see very few people using an active guard, and it's incredibly important. So when I'm in a range where I can elbow my opponent, he can elbow me. If I can headbutt him, he can headbutt me. If I can knee him, he can knee me. I need to be able to protect myself at that distance. So an example of using the active guard, if we're in here, and I throw this horizontal elbow, my right hand is up. If I transition to a diagonal down, my left hand is up. I'm constantly in a position where I'm covered if I'm using an active guard. This type of guard is not going to come to fruition just training it a little bit in the MMA gym here and there. It is something that you're going to have to spend some time on at home to really polish up and make it a little bit more efficient and make it your own. I promise you this is time well spent. If you get comfortable with the active guard, you're going to be more apt to use it in the cage and on the street because you know that you're safe while throwing the elbow. So you're going to see a couple combos come up here. 3 combos, they're sort of at medium speed. Obviously, they're all elbow combos. And I'd like to thank Rich Crunkleton, former UFC veteran. He owns the Daytona Beach Armory and Mixed Martial Arts Center. He actually fed the pads to me. The very first combo you're going to see is going to be a split entry and a scoop with 2 elbows and a switch knee, which is sort of a Kali influence combo. The second combo, you're going to see the cross hook and the cover, which is a Muay Thai influence combo with the same ending just to keep it relatively simple. And the third combo is going to be from the Fighting Evolved Shell series, where you're going to see a fist destruction. You're going to see us work out of the shell, right, left, spinning elbow. Now on the street, the people that train with me know that in our fighting curriculum, I do not like to expose our back. I don't like to use a lot of spinning techniques on the street. However, one of the times that we like to spin is if we're dealing with multiple opponents, because we want to strike and be able to disengage and change direction. So that's what you're going to see here in the third combo. There you go. Without further ado. Alright guys, that's the ultimate elbow video. Questions, comments, concerns, post below. Anybody that has a comment, I do read and respond to all my comments personally. Until next week, train hard, train smart, train for a lifetime.